Mike Watson has to be pleased that that's his sponsorship right there. Hey, welcome in. 11 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, a Thursday morning. We're taking care of business this morning on Stream Television, Armstrong, and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Joining us this morning is Deb Eckelberger from the Titusville Community Development Agencies. And Deb, who'd you bring in with you this morning?
Well, we have with us here today Lance Hummer. He's the Executive Director of the Keystone Community Education Council, and he's leading our Northwest Pennsylvania Oil and Gas Hub group and has for several years. It's a group that we've all belonged to for multiple years, focusing on the opportunities from the oil and gas industry and shale gas development. So, and we're taking care of business for everybody today because this just covers everybody. So that's very, very a great opportunity for our area. So we're here to focus on that.
This is great. Well, Lance, welcome once again to the program. You were on, I believe, last week.
2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. Well, and I'm confused because you didn't leave. You stayed here for 2 weeks. So
there's a couch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lance, great to see you again. Time is just flying, and here we are. Big event happening at Cross Creek. Tell us about the event.
The title of the program is The Regional Impact of the Petrochemical Cracker Plant to Western Pennsylvania. And it's our oil and gas hub task force that has been working diligently at trying to get this program made available. What I think is that a lot of people don't understand actually what the petrochemical cracker plant is, where it's going to be located. Pennsylvania is extremely lucky to have this opportunity. It's being built down in Beaver County, in Monaca, and it's going to take around 6,000 people to actually construct it. It was finally, the go-ahead occurred last June, and it's a Shell Oil that is the one that's constructing it. When it's completed, there'll be about 600 permanent employees.
Wow.
And I think people oftentimes think, well, that's down in Beaver County. How could it possibly affect the northern part of the state? The reality is that what we're looking at is once it's up and running, what is the feedstock or the product that they make? And it's there that it really does an incredible impact on the whole region. And when I say region, they are estimating that the radius from the cracker plant will go out about 200 miles.
Wow.
And it's going to affect the businesses, it'd be the secondary and the tertiary businesses like all of our plastic companies, because they will be able to get their feedstock from just down the road, basically, rather than having it shipped up from Houston or New Orleans, quite a distance. When the cracker plant, what they do is they do the refining of the gas that comes in and to make it into the ethylene and other products. But if people look around their house or just the room that they're in, I don't think they realize that, like the Formica top of this desk, that comes from that process. Our paints, our carpets, our clothing. You look at a pop bottle. In the pop bottle, everything from the container to the lid to the label to the colors that are in that do the print. It's so broad, and what this is going to do is give Northwest Pennsylvania an incredible economic development boost. It's really the revitalization of Western Pennsylvania because it will cover all of Western Pennsylvania. What we've been trying to do is look at how do we find out what the impact would be? How do you prepare for that impact? And it's really interesting because we have a small refinery that's down in Oil City, just out of Oil City on Route 8, Saucel, and their home company has just completed a cracker plant down in Louisiana. And what we were able to do is start contacting the economic development people, the education people, providers, in that area of Louisiana, and we are bringing them up on March 8th to the conference at Cross Creek, and they will be able to present to us all of what they have been going through for the past 7 years in the development, the construction of the cracker plant there.
So the plant's been up for 7 years?
It's just being completed.
Okay.
And this is in Louisiana. I think is it Charleston?
Lake Charles.
Lake Charleston, Louisiana. You know, to give some perspective on that 200-mile radius, Titusville sits about 100 miles north of Monaca. So, you know, that's a good hour and a half drive. You add another hour and a half on that, you're talking about a circle that extends up well past Buffalo, well down into West Virginia, well out to the east, you know, toward Harrisburg that way, and well into Ohio. So there's a lot of folks that are going to benefit from this.
There really are. That's what we're trying to do, is get the word out to the business and industry, to our economic development, so that there's a better understanding, and especially to our schools, the secondary level, the post-secondary level, because what is it that we need to be gearing our students towards as far as careers? What kinds of careers are going to start cropping up? You know, it's really unfortunate that we lost our refineries, the Pennzoil, the Quaker State, the Wolf's Head. It's like coming full circle. It's coming back to this area, and we all are going to benefit from it.
Well, those companies look and say, oh, you know, what's going on in Pennsylvania? Maybe we should go back and put an office there or put something there.
I think that what you'll see is there'll be a broadening within the petrochemical industry. One of the main things is we have pharmaceuticals in western Pennsylvania. They benefit from that. It always amazes me that you think of gas coming up from the ground, and how do they make plastic from that? How do they make carpet? How do they do pharmaceuticals? All of that. And it's what we're trying very hard to do is get that across to everybody about what this could mean, what it can mean for our small businesses. One of the things I found extremely interesting in talking to R.B. Smith from Louisiana, who's the head of their economic development down there, he said what they were surprised, one of the surprises that they had was that there was a real need for entrepreneurial training because there were so many small businesses that started to crop up around. They're doing some product for one of the manufacturers, and also the expansion of small businesses. And it'll be a great benefit, especially to the Titusville area, because of
our feedstock, for the plastic feedstock, can be sourced from more locally. I have gotten many phone calls prior to this event, people wondering what's going on at the cracker plant. How can we get connected with that? You know, we would like to reach out to someone there and trying. They're already thinking about it, so this will help them to give them some direction, to make those direct connections with people, or to give them ideas about the entrepreneur piece. You know, we use Gannett Small Business Development Center, Clarion Small Business Development Center, the Votex, Keystone, all of those people to help those entrepreneurs grow. So it is win-win for everyone. You know, it's wonderful.
Hold on one second. 20 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television. Armstrong in the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network.
I was going to say, this is sort of the second wave of this kind of activity. When the Marcellus Shale first made itself known, probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, there was a real need for folks in that industry to find more engineers, more metallurgists, more people with a science background. And I remember some of the companies. There was one in Meadville that was just Universal, just screaming for people, and they were all over the place. They were up in Jamestown, New York. They were in all the schools recruiting people, and they were finding it difficult to find people with those kinds of skills, so they started to develop all of that kind of stuff. And that's been phenomenal, and this is like another shot in the arm in a related industry.
Well, it is. It's the next step in that industry. what you'll hear is there'll be people out there who say, well, nothing's really happening. The whole gas industry is kind of
A holding pattern.
It's,
It
yeah,
was, and it was in a
basically it's-
holding pattern for a while. It
And
was.
what's happened is Pennsylvania did not have the infrastructure to get the gas to a particular location. And what's happened in the past year is a lot of our coal-generated electric plants have been changing over to natural gas. But that also meant that you had to build the pipeline infrastructure. A year ago, they were saying Pennsylvania needed to put in at least 67,000 miles of pipeline.
Wow.
And you think about that's like, where would they put all that? Well, that's because it's coming from the well to the transmission line and on. And so as more businesses have started changing over to natural gas, or businesses are starting to use some of the products, what's happened is the drilling is starting to occur again.
Yeah.
It's gradually starting to pick up. And also what we've been told is the wells that have been shut in are now being used.
They are.
So that's all a positive. And of course, when the cracker plant is finally up and running, it's a massive amount of gas that they'll be using. And we have that. And so that part of the industry will start to pick back up. But this is getting people prepared for what is it that you make from natural gas. And the cracker plant is one part of that they will start the process. And I don't think people realize that in northwest Pennsylvania, the Erie County down to Mercer and over to Clarion, a kind of a square, there's in excess of 100 plastic companies just in our area. And people generally don't realize that it's going to benefit them, but it's also going to benefit the fabricators in other parts of the manufacturing industry. And so here we have this incredible opportunity, and we've been so excited about this conference that we're going to have on March 8th at Cross Creek. People have to register for that because the seating is limited, and we are already anticipating, we've already had quite a few registrations, and we're anticipating that a lot of people will want to go to this. There is a considerable amount of backing on this and support because the Pennsylvania Independent Oil and Gas Association is, the Marcellus Coalition is, the Manufacturers Association, the Industrial Resource Center. Those are all groups that are saying this is extremely important and we need to get the word out. This is the first step in getting that word out about what the impact actually is going to be.
So is it kind of like, because you mentioned not only the plastic companies, but you mentioned the mom and pop businesses that sort of pop up. Is it kind of like a fast food chain or an auto parts chain where one pops up and then all of a sudden you have others popping up around it? I mean,
oftentimes they're related businesses.
It can be.
Yeah.
And it could be businesses or services.
Yeah.
I think about our rail line here. You know, this is a great way for our rail line to grow, to bring in more product, to bring in the pipe that needs to be used for those lines that need to be installed, for opportunities for people like us or others that might have a vacant land for a lay-down yard for the pipe or transfer location for offloading product. It just are so many opportunities. When you were talking about a reemergence, it reminds us of we have, in 2014, you know, we did our shale strategic plan here for Titusville, and the theme of that was come back where it all started. So we are happy to be able to brush that off again and get that out and get that. We were looking through that again and starting to work on that again. There was a lull in it, and so that did diminish that for a while, but we're glad we have that in place and able to move that forward. So it's a good guide for us as we move forward.
Kind of a quick overview of what will be covered that day. We have Dan Bornay, who's the president of the Chemical Association, who will come and give an overview about what the products are that come from cracking the gas, use that expression. And then we have R.B. Smith, who is the head of the economic development down in the Lake Charles area. And he has an incredible background on what the impact is, what they are experiencing, what they had to prepare for, and the key. There's one thing that we will be emphasizing is the key to all this is you have to have a collaborative partnership between business and industry, economic development, and education. And they have to work together. They've been very lucky to be able to do that, and they're going to be sharing that with us. After RB speaks, then we'll have a superintendent of schools who's going to be talking about what they've been doing at the high school level. We will have a workforce development person from Suella Technical Community College and their credit person and the programs that they've had to develop to help with what's going on.
You know, collaboration has been the buzzword for probably going on 15 or more years. When I first moved up here in 2004, one of the first events I covered was a social services event down in Oil City, and it brought together so many different agencies. I learned that through all of these folks working together, it avoided duplication of services and made them stronger when they went to apply for grants and programs and such. And since then, I've seen that work in school districts and community levels, social services, and now here at the industry level. It just does seem to make so much sense that collaboration is really something that needs to be called upon.
It really is. What they're saying is that you have to function as a region. You cannot function as a small municipality. The parochialism must go out the door, that we all have to work together. And that's the one thing they're going to emphasize. That's how they were able to do it. They do not run on the county system. They run on a parish system. And there's a bit of a difference, but they'll be able to share that. And that's the message that we really want to get out to people is, first, what is the impact going to be? And then, if this is going to be successful, we have to have everybody working together.
So if you're a business owner watching or listening right now in Meadville, Titusville, Oil City, Franklin, other places, but if they're trying to figure out how their business is going to either benefit or how they can be a part of it, this is the first step then, right? This is where the research begins, right here.
Yes. Contact your local economic development person that's in that area. They can help you and direct you. We've talked to all of them. They're aware of it. Our prep partners are all aware of it. Call us. You might want to give them the website to register. It's to register online. We can send it to you. Maybe you guys will put it on your Facebook page and on your website. But it's just www.regonline.com, and then you can find it, or just plug it in and Google it, and you'll find it. It's a great event, and everybody will be able to benefit.
One quick thing, and that is that the group in Louisiana is like 7 years ahead of us. What we're doing is saying to business and industry and everybody else is, learn about this, start preparing, because when the cracker plant in Pennsylvania goes online, which will be in about 5 to 6 years, because it's taking that long to build it, be ready, be prepared, do a strategic plan or approach for your business, for your schools. This is the opportunity. Don't wait for 5 years and then say, where are we at? Here's your opportunity. And then what we're planning on with the hub is to bring other programs to be smaller than this, but more centered,
Correct.
Whether it's to plastics or it's to schools.
Education, or some more
that'll be to follow. But this is the introductory of sort of, come on, get ready, get prepared.
All righty. And Lance, they can email you, lhummer@keystoneecc.org.
Yes.
All right, guys, good to see you this morning. Thank you so much. Big event, again, happening March 8th from 9 to 4 p.m. Get registered right now for it and learn how you can get involved and start to build that groundwork. So when it comes, you're ready. Will there be a translator there for all the people from Louisiana?
They do tend to have an accent.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they speak slower.
Okay. Slow down. All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Final look at news coming up next.